as we know, there's loads of individuals at the moment that are up in arms about the woke right stuff. James Lindsay is going on a number of podcasts at the moment talking about the woke right nonsense, and then also mentioning names such as Candace Owens, who is apparently on the woke right, if you even want to call it that. But David Petolashio, I think his name is. I'm sorry, mate, if I butchered your name. He put something over on X, which is rather interesting and easy and quite clear for everyone to understand about the things that James is actually talking about, which may seem rather complicated, but it's really simple, to be honest with you. So woke right, obsessed with racial identity, authoritarian, opposed to religious liberty, hates the Jews, blames women for everything. White people are superior, and that's good. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen a number of people on the right that would espouse these kinds of traits, that would consider to be in the woke right, kind of far right category of extremism. And really, they've come from the woke left, because if you look at the woke left, which people are more than happy to recognize exists, but no, can't recognize the woke right actually exists, because that's absurd. And notice how, if you are in any of the categories of what would classify you as being in the woke right, you get completely outraged about it, just like people on the woke left. Gee, that's interesting. I saw someone comment the other day, it's lonely being in the middle. It is very lonely being in the middle, believe you me. Now, I am someone that would classify myself as being in the center, and I lean conservative. I have conservative values, and I look at what the Bible says, I look at the teachings of Jesus, and I try and live my life accordingly. Now, let's look at the woke left, shall we? Obsessed with racial identity, authoritarian, opposed to religious liberty, hates the Jews, blames men for everything. That is the feminist movement, the crazy feminists, especially the modern day feminists. Geez, white people are superior, and that's bad. So they have this feeling of, we must elevate black people, and we must actually be like, black people can't be racist to white people. I hate to break it to you, but there's just racism. So saying that you can't be racist to a white person is nonsense. It's ridiculous. But that's the kind of ideological beliefs that the woke left have. And the woke right are more in the category of a Nazi or Hitler, saying that white people are superior and everyone else of a different color or skin tone is inferior. So sound familiar? Yes. Even though we know Candace is black and the Hodge twins are black, but they hate the Jews, and they actually talk about how women are the problem for a number of things. And they claim to have authoritarian, narcissistic kind of tropes. Now, and that sort of leads me on to, what does Candace Owens truly want? What is her ultimate aim at the end of the day? Can she just become this provocateur of the landscape that we've got? At the moment, she's on maternity leave, and she's replaced herself with the likes of Ian Carroll, who we know is just someone that loves to talk a bunch of nonsense and lie through the skin of his teeth, very much like Candace Owens. But hey, what do I know? Anyway, have a watch of this from James Lindsay talking about Candace Owens' I guess, ultimate aim. It's interesting.
People want cults. Mm-hmm. People who have narcissistic tendencies want cults. They want huge followings. They want those followings to support them, to reflect back upon them, to give them money, to give them accolades, to get them opportunities. And so you can just see, you know, there's a character like Candace who sees maybe she's not particularly scrupulous. She sees the shot she can shoot. She sees a series of plays that she can make and that she can get a completely committed following. If you say something right and people support you, and then you say something else right and they support you, and then you say something wrong, a bunch of them might leave. But if you say something wrong and people support you, boy, they're locked in. Because now they're like, you know, they put their own pride on the line, their own sense on the line to defend you. So they were committed for reasons other than that you were right. They were committed because they were emotionally attached to you or something like that. So this is exactly what the cult leader is looking for. If you start driving it deeper and deeper and deeper into taboo or no-go territory, then you have a bunch of people who are more or less stuck with you. They're going to have high loyalty, high commitment. And so there's a bunch of people who's probably saw this opportunity to shoot their shots and do that.
And that is very interesting. So Candace is obviously saying some very provocative things. You've got people where they'll latch on to, she says something right a couple of times, and then she says something wrong. A couple of people may leave, and that's totally fine, except what's happened to me a number of times. Now, if you get people that latch onto you, even if you say something wrong, right, and they stay with you, and in many cases, millions of people have stayed on with Candace Owens because of the things that she said, even if it's wrong. And there's so many things that she said that is actually wrong. Countless things, especially when it comes to the Jews, for example. But as James Lindsay pointed out, who is actually incredibly smart, and James Lindsay seems to piss off a lot of people nowadays with everything that he says, especially with the conversation he had with Jordan Peterson recently about this very thing. They didn't obviously mention names. We knew who they were alluding to on the podcast. But James is saying people like cults. It's cult-like worship. I don't want anyone to worship me. I'm amazed that I've got 80-something thousand followers at the moment. I am honestly amazed that so many people actually return and watch me. I never thought that would even be possible. And it humbles me to this very, very day. I'm not right about everything at all. There's probably a small amount of things that I'm right about because it's not my stuff. It's what the Bible has to say. But I appreciate everyone that continues to return. And I don't expect you to continue following me. I'm grateful that you guys follow me. I don't want to become like this cultist, elitist sort of persona, which is exactly what Candace Owens has become, right? And James has pointed it out. Like, she's become this cult-like leader, and so many people latch onto her. Nick Fuentes being another one. The other day, I don't know if you guys saw this video. I can't show it, unfortunately, because it's quite extreme and it'll probably get me banned from this platform. But to describe it, I basically have to put it into the context of what Hitler would do. And basically, if you take a pledge to worship or serve Nick Fuentes, you do exactly what he says. And if he says for you to unalive someone, then you will do just that. Now, I don't know about you, but that is nuts. That is actually psychopathic behavior, which is exactly what James Lindsay and Jordan Peterson were talking about. Psychopathic, narcissistic, Machiavellianism. The dark tetrad. And loads of people that have infiltrated the right, conservatism, espouse those very things. Candace says a lot of crazy stuff. He's also very narcissistic, also loves defending herself, even if she's wrong. And that, my friends, is a problem. So what does Candace really, truly want? It seems like she wants fame. She wants notoriety. She wants people to listen to her, to look up to her, because that's what pride is. That's part of narcissism. I know you guys may think this is kind of crazy, but I don't strive for fame at all. I don't care. In fact, I think it's more fun being anonymous than it is being on the forefront. But I do this because I know that it's right, because it's the truth. And I criticize what people have to say because that's what's right. If someone is lying about something, I expect people to do the same thing about me. If I'm lying about something, call me out on it. And I'll be man enough to admit that I'm wrong. But Candace can't even admit when she's wrong. So what is her ultimate aim? To keep lying. To keep leading people astray. Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.